You're watching episode number 23 of the Hong Kong Racing Show. I'm Andrew Brown. A huge show ahead. Alex Evers joining us from Saudi with all the latest on the world's best racehorse. I'm talking, of course, about Hong Kong superstar Romantic Warrior as he gets ready for the Saudi Cup. Plus, we have two Group 1s at Sha Tin to look at, one of them featuring the world's best sprinter, Ka Ying Rising. Our special guest this week is the show's OG special guest, Andie Biancone. And Andie, you've got to be getting excited. Your celebrity crush, romantic warrior, trying dirt for the first time this weekend. How are you feeling?
I'm so beyond excited. I mean, just Alex has been keeping us all up to date on the social media with a million pictures of Romantic Warrior, and I'm just like glazed over staring at them every day. Um, I am a little worried though, first try on the dirt. I'm a little worried, my little baby Romantic Warrior. Hope for the best, but it's always scary.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's a little nerve wracking. Obviously, we want to see
Nerve
him
wracking.
do his best. And I concur, Alex. Your photos have been absolutely spectacular. Especially love that one you captured of Danny giving Romantic Warrior a kiss, and then the Del Mar like one of Romantic Warrior as well. Fantastic work. You've been in Saudi all week. What's the buzz been like around the track, having the world's best racehorse in town?
Thank you for the kind words, guys. It's been awesome, and everybody's had their iPhones fixed, and they want to see from around the world, wherever they're from. They've been excited to see Romantic Warriors. So for Hong Kong Racing, it's wonderful to showcase their superstar on a stage like this, and he's looked incredible to me. His energy, he's like kind of like Highland Reel in that he loves his travels, and he seems to just thrive and be happy outside of Hong Kong, and the new environment, the new experience doesn't seem too much for him. Um, I've been pleased with seeing him every day. I think he's going to run his race, and if he runs his race and handles the surface, there's nobody going to beat him. He's the best horse in the world for a reason. None of these horses have run against a horse as tough as him, as good as him. So again, if he handles the track, I think he's a winner.
What's the feeling been like within the Romantic Warrior camp, as far as you can tell? Are they feeling confident?
Confident and light. Like there's no if you think the stress transfers with a horse from what the humans are feeling, they're as comfortable and relaxed as ever. And Danny said in the press conference today, he just loves the horse more than anything. He just wants him to come home safely. And, they're going to be proud of him regardless of what happens. But I think in the way James has been all week too, and whether it's just because Katie's with him, but he's been really happy and just the whole mood is really light. And we're just kind of expecting to see greatness because at least in my lifetime, there's never been a horse like this that, and if he wins on the dirt here, he's one of the all-time greats. Like he will be up there with, in my opinion, the secretariats who did it on both surfaces at the highest level against the world's best competition. And look, it looks like Japan's throwing the last bullet at him in Forever Young. They've tried him with everybody. They tried him with Tastiera. They tried him with the Triple Tiara winner. They tried him with Prognosis, Soul Rush. Now Forever Young, Ushba Tesoro, Wilson Tesoro, Ramjet. He's looked well. They're throwing everything they got at him, and the Warriors battle tested. He's the only one that's taking him down. Really is Golden 60. So
Yeah, well, that's
I
right.
it's a great opportunity. I can't wait to see him run. And like I said, I'm getting giddy about it because I do think he's going to put on a show and really let the world know who's the boss. He's the real world's greatest horse.
Yeah, that's awesome. Andy, from what you've seen of Romantic Warrior in Saudi this week, through videos and Alex's photos and everything and everything like that, does it look like to you that he's comfortable when traveling over the dirt? And if there are any concerns, what might you have in terms of concerns?
He certainly looks comfortable over the surface, happy in his training, and even as Alex mentioned, just getting aggressive in the mornings and whatnot. But it really is an unknown until they run on it. We saw it with City of Troy in the Breeders' Cup Classic. Oh, he's traveling over the dirt. Great. He looks great. He looks like he's taking. No, you do not know until they are running in the race. And my biggest concern for Romantic Warrior is just the kickback. That is something, a huge factor. That kickback, it could be a huge impediment for a horse who's not used to it. And I saw him in a video galloping in the mornings, and he kind of was amongst traffic and maybe had a little kickback, and it made him quite keen and quite aggressive. So that might be a good sign that he's willing to just run into it versus like But like I said, we really don't know until the race is happening.
I talked to Mike Smith a couple weeks ago when I was at Santa Anita just to ask him about the surface because he rode over here about 3 weeks ago when Rattle and Roll ran at that meet. And he was just saying how kind and forgiving and how gentle the kickback was. And that morning you're speaking of Wilson Tesoro, Ushpa Tesoro, they had their final breezes. And when they breezed up on the inside of him, he was kind of just cantering along. He grabbed the bit and absolutely wanted to go. He got so competitive. And like I said on social media, the last time I saw a horse do that in a gallop so close to a big race, it was Justified before the Belmont. And the horse worked up on the inside of him. He grabbed the bit and just wanted to go. So you can tell he's competitive nature is there every time he steps on the race course. And as a competitive guy myself, I love seeing it. I just love seeing competitive horses that love what they do and want to go out there and perform at the highest level. And it's going to be great.
It's going to be awesome. The full field with post positions on your screen now. Romantic Warriors starting from post 3. James McDonald's wife, Katie, doing the team a solid and drawing that post at the draw during the week. Kenny McPeak's Rattle and Roll, Alex just mentioned, who won a key lead-up race for this, the sole American challenger in the field, and has post 7. According to betting markets, Romantic Warrior's biggest danger will, of course, be a horse very familiar to us here in North America, Japan's Forever Young, third in last year's Kentucky Derby, third in the Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar in November. Outside of those 2 races, he's undefeated, including a last-out win in a Grade 1 in Japan, where he beat a number of his Japanese contemporaries here as well. Of course, he won on this surface last year when he won the Saudi Derby on the way to the UAE Derby before the Kentucky Derby. Alex, I noticed trainer Yoshito Yahagi was wearing the Panther Lassa jacket this week in the mornings. He's 2023 Saudi Cup winner. Could Forever Young be his second winner in this race? How's he been looking this week?
He's looked incredible and he's grown even more since we've seen him as a 3-year-old in California. His hind end is filled out, his shoulders bigger. I was looking at some pictures of him and I'm like, he looks physically as good as ever. And we walked the track with James McDonald and Danny on Tuesday after his track work. And I will say, with the depth of the surface, and it feels like Belmont Park, but deeper and softer, you can see how the Japanese horses would have an advantage running over those deep, sandy tracks that it seems like, you're going to want to have a lot of stamina. So it might be an 1,800-meter race, but a horse that can run 2,000 meters and have that sort of ability to stay those longer distances, it's going to be a huge benefit. And I think it benefits a horse like Forever Young. And he's going to be the barrier is probably not is what they wanted. They might want to draw a little bit inside more or not. I mean, you're going to avoid the kickback, but he looks like he's going to be tough. It's going to be it's a true competition for Romantic Warrior and the other horses too here. Rattle and Roll has looked really well, and kind of a horse that no one's really talking about is Facteur Cheval, and he ran incredible in
Mm.
the All Maktoum Challenge against the bias, a turf horse, but he's looked comfortable and he's traveled over really well. His condition looks incredible. He looks like he's not really lost any weight from the last run, potentially gained some. And he's been out with the saddle towel kind of tucked under, so you're not really seeing. If you don't know what he looks like and you don't know him, you'd miss him every morning. But everybody that I've seen here, even Ramjet, I was really impressed with how he got over the surface and his energy and his condition. So it's a proper test for the champ.
Yeah, it's sure going to be. What about you, Andy? Is Forever Young going to feature in your selections? How do you feel about his chances? And why don't you hit us with your top 3 for the Saudi Cup?
Okay, top 3. This is super boring, but obviously Romantic Warrior, Forever Young, and Rattle and Roll. I'm still kind of trying to determine the order for myself. My heart is rooting for Romantic Warrior, but the handicapper in me is like, don't take a short price with a horse trying something new for the first time. Like, I just like that is the one Achilles heel for me that is kind of making me not want to put Romantic Warrior as my top selection. I do think Forever Young is his biggest threat. As Alex mentioned, he's really used to running on these kinds of deep sandy tracks. I mean, watching the replay from the Grade 1 Tokyo Daishoten, I mean, there is sand flying everywhere. Like, Forever Young has impressed me from day one. I mean, just seeing him from the Kentucky Derby going to the Breeders' Cup Classic, he's growing, he's changing, and he's just accomplished so much already. He's proven himself on so many different tracks. He's so versatile and just has a good mind as well. Like, seeing him in the mornings at the Breeders' Cup, he's just calm as can be, like so chill walking on the buckle. Like, you'd never catch an American horse doing that. So I do think he's kind of the biggest threat to Romantic Warrior as long as Romantic Warrior handles the dirt and Rattle and Roll. The horse didn't get into the Breeders' Cup Classic. He was on the also eligibles. And Kenny McPeak was telling me, I saw him in the morning. He was like, I hope Rattle and Roll gets in because this horse could win. Like, this horse is legit. And he never drew in, came back, won the Clark, won the prep for the Saudi Cup. So he's been there, he's been acclimated. And like Alex said as well, he's been a beast in the mornings. I actually used to see him every day during the summer training at Churchill Downs. And his exercise rider Miguel, they would just kind of like lope around the outside. He can be kind of a tough horse to manage, but now just with Danny Ramsey, he's just really feeling
Yo,
himself every single day. He's trying to grab the bit and fly around, and you could just tell the horse is feeling super good. So don't sleep on Rattle and Roll.
Could make it back-to-back wins in the race for America if he causes the upset. So we've got Romantic Warrior to beat Forever Young and Rattle and Roll for Andy. What about you, Alex? Your top three in the Saudi Cup?
it's interesting too because Rattle and Roll has been excluded from two Grade One races in the United States, and they're the two races where the pace has absolutely melted down. The Kentucky Derby when Rich Strike got up, and the Breeders' Cup Classic. And I believe with the way he runs, he would have had an impact on both of those races. Kinney was lovely today. The horse looks wonderful. I think he's going to be in there too. Like Andy said, like I'm terrible at betting because I bet with my heart, not with my head, and I know better than to take just exactly what Andy said. If I was looking for a price, I honestly would be all over Facteur Cheval just because I think he's going to like this surface. The pace could get hot at the 1800. If you're looking for a price, that's what I like, but I can't go against Romantic Warrior. I really like Rattle and Roll as well, but I'm going to go Romantic Warrior, Forever Young, Facteur Cheval. Those are my three in that order. And if Rattle and Roll wins, I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd be happy as could be for Kenny. And Kenny, what a couple years that'd be for Kenny. Oaks, Derby, Breeders' Cup Distaff, and a Saudi Cup. I mean,
Be
that's pretty good.
unbelievable.
How about you, Andrew?
Interestingly enough, Alex, we have the exact same trifecta, and the Factor Cheval angle I think is really interesting. You pointed to that race in Dubai, so he's had a little bit of dirt experience and giving off some sort of Mishra feels from a couple of years ago, who was also from the UK and won this race. I think he'll sort of improve, but yeah, underneath in my trifecta, Factor Cheval. If this was the Japan racing show, I think I would probably put Forever Young on top. But this is the Hong Kong racing show, so I'm going to put Romantic Warrior on top. Again, it's that heart and that head.
Yeah.
It's that heart and that head, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Forever Young has been there, done that. We know he's just going to relish the dirt. Romantic Warrior, we're not as sure, but he's seasoned. He overcomes any obstacle that's been put in front of him, and I really hope that Romantic Warrior gets the job done. So I'm going to give it just to him in front of Forever Young, Factor Cheval third. Any final thoughts on the Saudi Cup from either of you before we move on to the races at Sha Tin this weekend?
One final thought. Can we re-record this and do the NFL thing and we all pick Forever Young or pick somebody different so that we jinx them and we let Romantic Warrior win? I think that's
Yeah.
that's the big key. And one other thing with Factor Cheval, right? If you're looking for a price, he ran right there against Namur. Namur was pretty close to him, Romantic Warrior and Soul Rush and the Yasuda Kinen. So he's not that far off of Romantic Warrior in kind of form related things. So if you are on Factor Cheval, that's something you can kind of look to. But the fact that we all pick Romantic Warrior, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe we all pick the same horses all the way through and we get our own sort of triple crown this weekend.
I like it. I like the way you think, Alex. But yeah, let's do a separate recording so that,
And we just cut it up and don't let anybody know.
yeah.
Good plan, guys. A couple of interesting angles from a North American perspective too. We've got Antonio Fraser on Defunded, who is a former Grade 1 winner from California. So good luck to Antonio, who's made the trip over to the Saudi. And on the undercard as well, of course, all the best to Straight No Chaser in the sprint for trainer Dan Blacker. And I see Howard Wallowitz too there in the turf sprint. So good luck to all the American connections at Saudi on Saturday morning, North American time. That's going to be a huge card. And then we'll have a brief reprieve, enjoy some domestic racing. And then it's to not Happy Valley, Sha Tin on Saturday night, our time, back to headquarters at Sha Tin for two massive Group 1s. We will preview them shortly. But firstly, Andy, credit where credit's due, tipping Johannes Brahms as your best bet last week, getting the job done under Andrea Zani in the feature race on the card, and now looks to be a pretty genuine Hong Kong Derby chance too. Well done.
Thank you. Sometimes you can't give up, because I picked him another time and he ran dead last, but it was a really sneaky race. He got caught super super wide, and really I know he finished last, but it really wasn't by that much. And then he got a weight break, and that's what I love about Hong Kong racing the most. You really got to find those trouble trips, and see a trouble trip, horse gets a little weight break, like it's a send.
It was a great win and at really nice odds as well. So well done to that one. Let's
Thank you.
move on to Saturday night and take a look at the field for the Group 1 Queen's Silver Jubilee Cup. And of course, all eyes will be on the world's best sprinter, Ka Ying Rising, who steps up to the 7 furlongs for the first time as he looks to make it 10 straight wins and a third straight Group 1. Carice Teaton takes over from an injured Zach Purton, and he's drawn widest in 9. Looking at others in the field, California Spangle hasn't been in the best of form this season, but he is a multiple Group 1 winner, including in this race last year when he beat Galaxy Patch. Beauty Eternal, he has a good record over the 7 furlongs. Helios Express, of course, has been seeing a lot of Ka Ying Rising's heels this season. The extra distance could suit him. And as we take a look at the all-important speed map, it shows Ka Ying Rising crossing from his wide post and dictating in front. Andie, we'll start with you. How impressed have you been with the
Oh my
progression of Ka Ying Rising?
Oh my gosh, he's just been a beast, and versatile at that, because he can kind of sit from off the pace, but he's got the gas to go and be forward. We saw him go gate to wire last time out and just absolutely dominated, to say the very least. With that being said, I do think this race is his most vulnerable, getting a slight stretch out in distance of 1,400 meters. He doesn't have Zach Purton aboard. He's got, he's got Karis Teaton up, who is amazing in his own regard, but it's something new. And California Spangle could be a thorn in his side. That horse has one way to go, and if Ka Ying Rising decides to go, which he might, because he's getting a slight stretch out in distance, so he might find himself forward. Those are all things. I still picked him on top because I just think he's that dominant in this group. But if there is a potential for him to get beat, it is this race with all the new factors he's facing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. What about you, Alex? Any chinks in the armor from your perspective for Ka Ying Rising, or does he just win this for fun?
The outside barrier and the Spangle aspect could be interesting. Spangle is so badly off form again, but we've seen him like just turn it right around like that. Not to say that that's going to happen this time. It really just depends how fast they go and if Karras can give him that breather, and potentially, if he gets hung 3 wide, no cover, which he's so good that he might be able to just overcome that in this race. It's hard to pick against him, and I don't. We're all going to end up on the same horse in every race, right? Kind of feel. But I'm going to go with Helios Express here. I think potentially we get a little pace going on, and he comes flying late, and maybe Ka Ying Rising gets a little tired that last 50 meters. Although nothing suggests in his form line that that's going to happen, but maybe we'll see it here. So I'm going to go with, to be interesting, Helios Express over Ka Ying Rising and Beauty Eternal. Which is like, do not pick these picks, please. Don't bet them. But I think maybe we could see something like that. But Ka Ying Rising, if he does win here, he's alive for the sprint series, and that would be on Champions Day, back at the 1,200 meters. He's a star. He's a really nice horse. And talk about troubled trips. Hopefully, I make it back in time for that race, because if Karras wins on him, he's going to go absolutely nuts, and the photos will be incredible. And if I do make it, I want Ka Ying Rising to win, and I want to see that happen. If I don't make it, let Helios Express win.
You better make it. That's all I want to say,
It,
because I'm banking on these pictures.
I
Um,
land at 140, and the race runs at 3 o'clock. It's going to be very close.
Ooh, it will be. And of course, it's going to be close for James McDonald too, a couple of races later to try and get that back for Voyage Bubble. We'll look at that race in a second. So, Helios Express, big upset for you, Alex, over Ka Ying Rising, Beauty Eternal for third. What about you, Andie, underneath? I know you've got Ka Ying Rising on top.
Yeah, Ka Ying Rising on top. I've actually got Red Lion underneath. I was
Okay.
quite impressed by the Stewards Cup performance. California Spangle set like a really slow pace, and Red Lion was way off the pace and rallied to finish third. He also has 4 wins at the 1400-meter distance, so I kind of think that works in his favor. And then I have Helios Express right under. I mean, he finished second to Ka Ying Rising last time out and really rallied from way off the pace. So he's got a really impressive turn of foot. I definitely think he is undoubtedly going to be in the mix. So Ka Ying Rising, Red Lion, Helios Express.
I think Helios expressed the common theme here as well, that we all think maybe could be a big danger. I've got him for second behind Ka Ying Rising, who I just think wins this. He's an absolute superstar. I'm not sure if it was Zach the other day that said to us, Alex, that anyone could probably be strapped in and win on Ka Ying Rising. The good thing with Carice taking over, and as Zach pointed out in the show last week, he's won on him before last season, and he rides work quite a bit at Chung Fa aboard Ka Ying Rising. So at least he does know the horse. But yeah, the only concern, of course, being that the wide gate and the extra furlong as well. But Ka Ying Rising for me, Helios Express for second. How Deep Is Your Love? I've got in there for third. So that is basically the exact same trifecta as the Centenary Sprint Cup from a few weeks back. Let's move on to the Hong Kong Gold Cup, race 7 on the card, over the mile and a quarter. And Voyage Bubble has been in absolutely scintillating form this season and looks to try and make it 3 straight Group 1s here. It is just the third time he's stepped up to the 2,000 metres, though. The distance that he did win the Hong Kong Derby over a couple of years back, though. J-Max somehow making it back from Saudi for this ride, assuming all goes well. Galaxy Patch did beat Voyage Bubble earlier in the season, but he's seen a lot of his rump since. Blake Shin takes the ride again. Always got to mention the pride of Iowa, Chang Cheng Glory, who broke well for a well-deserved Group 3 win last out in the Centenary Vase. The speed map, well, it's showing Voyage Bubble getting a very cozy run on the fence just behind the leader, Sword Point. Alex, we'll kick this one to you first for your selections. Who do you like?
I like Voyage Bubble, and the Romantic Warrior in the Golden 60 form comes into play here. He
Yeah.
gave Romantic Warrior everything he could handle last year in the Gold Cup, came up a bit short there to no fault of his own, lost to a champion. So I do think he's going to win. I do think he's going to be alive for the Hong Kong Triple Crown, which will end in the champion in Shaders at 2,400 meters. And that's technically a class distance test for the Hong Kong horses. Not many like that distance. But 2,000 meters, he's done very well at the distance. And again, in a slowly run race up front, I think he's got every chance to get the jump on Galaxy Patch, who I do like for second, and the hard knock in Chen Cheng Glory, who's just at the grade 1 level, just probably a cut below these top two. That's the three that I like, and hopefully he does have a chance. It'll be fun to see a horse go for the Hong Kong Triple Crown.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if the state of Iowa is considering making a statue of Chen Cheng Glory. They should be. If they're not, we'll have to
I'm
get him.
gonna petition it. I'm like, hey, do y'all know what's going on like over there?
Andy, you would love him. He's gorgeous. He's like a stunning looking guy in person.
I am sure he is. I mean, even just watching replays of him, you can't miss him. His little pink blinkers. It's amazing.
All right, your selections, Andy.
Boring Voyage Bubble. I mean, he's kind of same as Ka Ying Rising. Like, I'm just gonna pick Voyage Bubble until he gets beat. You know what I mean? Like, he's just in such good form. Can't pick against him. I love him, and also maybe a little biased because he was like my sneaky selection HKIR day, and he like really pulled through for me.
Mm.
Um, so Voyage Bubble, my top pick there, and then Chan Chang Glory, my second pick. Granted, he had things go his way in the vase last time out. He sat a forward trip and really kind of just stayed out of trouble and was able to kick on. But I do think he's a good looking horse. I liked his turn of foot, regardless of the perfect trip last time out. And I think he's a credible second choice. But I'm going to use Ensued as my third choice. He finished third behind Chan Chang Glory in the vase last time and had a bunch of trouble, was way far back, came very wide, and still rallied to get third. So to me, if he could sit a more forward trip possibly in this spot, I think he's very live for a price.
Awesome. So Voyage Bubble to beat Chang Chang Glory and Ensued. Similar numbers for me. Voyage Bubble just beaten in by Romantic Warrior, as Alex mentioned in this race last year. I think he'll go one better this time. Chang Chang Glory, I've got him in for second, and Galaxy Patch, who he's just been unlucky and on his day, I think he can win and beat Voyage Bubble, but like he did 4 starts ago. But at this stage, he just needs to show a little bit more. And I've got Galaxy Patch in for third. Guys, what a weekend of racing. We have the world's best sprinter, Ka Ying Rising at Sha Tin. 12 hours earlier, we've got the world's best racehorse being ridden by the world's best jockey in the world's richest race in Saudi. I think I'm just going to get up early, sit on the couch, and just sit back and watch some awesome racing all day, maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna be snowed in. I think Rebel card has officially been moved to Sunday
Yeah.
at
Okay.
and training's been like canceled indefinitely. So we'll be just watching the good racing in my heated blanket.
And your very good looking HKIR 2024 jacket as well, I see.
That's right. Thank you, Andrew, sending this out to me. Real homie, real MVP.
Looks awesome. Very good. You look better in it than what Alex looks in his.
100%.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Any more final thoughts, guys, for any of the racing at Saudi or Sha Tin this weekend, or shall we wrap things up?
No. We need the flight gods to be good to J Mac and I. We need everything to go well to make it to the races on time.
How
For real, that is bold. You both better have your running shoes on, like no checked bags. Like you better be booking it.
No, we both have checked bags.
Oh God.
I timed it 2 weeks ago. It was 22 minutes from the seat to the car, and it's 30 minutes from the airport to Sha Tin. So it's going to be close for me for the sprint. J Mac should be fine for the Gold Cup.
You better make it. Alex, I will I'll just be praying that you make it because I'm really banking on these photos.
This is the I told my wife this is the amazing race of horse photography. I've been thinking about this since December when they announced that he was going to go to the Saudi Cup, and I was like, "There's no way." And if he does, I want to do this and pull this off. And so we'll see. No sleep. It's going to be crazy. Hopefully, I
You're
get an
being,
upgrade. If
you're
not, I'm
being.
going to be. I feel like I've aged 15 years in the last 3 days. I'm just looking at
I'm
myself in the
aged 50
camera. I'm
years
like,
just hearing about it. Honestly, just geez, you must be floored. But
I would actually watch that as a show in itself, like the race from Saudi to Hong Kong. How much room do you have to move? Like if one flight is late or delayed or anything like that, is there much room
it's
to move?
we're direct, and we have
Yes.
jet stream behind us. So
Ah,
if the wind, the wind gods take care of us and push us a little bit faster, and we get there, it could go very well. But I'm gonna be that guy on the airplane, and I this is like my least favorite person, pet peeve wise, the guy who stands up as soon as the plane lands. I'm standing up, I'm getting my bags, and I'm pushing as forward as I can to get off this plane as fast as I can. But J Mac and I are both in the same boat in that he doesn't have Hong Kong ID. So we're going to the general customs line to go through with everybody else, and who knows what it looks like at 1:40 p.m.
yeah.
Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not, but
I
bags
don't
should
think
be
you'll be.
there. The cars are waiting.
I don't know if you'll be
We'll see.
exactly in the same boat. J Mac should probably have seat 1A, I would have thought, so he won't have to stand up and push his way in front of everybody like you.
I just keep telling people like imagine this flight when Romantic Warrior wins and the energy is just going to carry us forward, and then if he wins with Voyage Bubble as well, and what an insane 14 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know, the math's getting fuzzy. Everything's kind of getting fuzzy now.
God, it'd be amazing. You'd feel on top of the world. All right, guys. Hey, awesome to talk to you both. Enjoy the weekend of racing, especially you, Alex, there in Saudi. Very jealous. I'm sure Andy is as well. You've followed this horse all around the world. I think it's only the Cox Plate that you've missed, it seems. So enjoy it, lap it all up, and yeah, we can't wait to hear all about it on next week's show. But thanks for joining us, guys, and thank you for watching, everyone. And we'll see you next time on the Hong Kong Racing Show.